All right, ladies and gentlemen, what I decided it's time for today is a little bit of charity work, a little bit of giving back, because I saw one of my fellow Wuthering Waves content creators, ZZZ, and his latest video. I heard he put a lot of work into this one, and boy oh boy, it is not doing very well. So hopefully with this react, we can get some of those views back up and get his channel back on track. I heard that this one is actually quite good, and I'm excited to see what some of his thoughts are when it comes to the amazing redemption arc that WuWa and ZZZ have had across 2025 with the releases of some of their best patches yet.
2025 has finally arrived, and in 2024 we had two very prominent children's gambling simulator games released, Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero. Now, in most cases, this would only be a cause for celebration because now everyone has more games to play. However, gacha game players are a tribalistic bunch, and after you waste hundreds of hours or steal enough money off your mom's credit card...
Whose parents am I? Whose parent am I cosplaying right now?
Eventually, you find the need to justify yourself somehow. This caused one of the most toxic wars I've ever seen between fandoms over which game was better.
It's obviously Wuthering Waves, because that's the only game you stream. Duh!
With seemingly both at each other's throats, when in reality, it was just 0.1% of chronically online morons in their communities non-stop trashing each other on Twitter. If someone praised one or criticized the other, you'd be labeled accordingly a curlbot or a Hoyo shill named after the developers Curl Games and Hoyoverse. On the first of every single month, the two would battle it out on the Gacha Games subreddit, using the Gacha revenue charts to prove that their game is better than the other.
Remember what we did to this one, ladies and gentlemen? Remember what we did to this thing? Down. Get it out of here. Exile it. Banished.
Or justify why they spent their college fund on a PNG. However, this war is not the point of the video. No, rather the purpose is to illustrate how both of these games have recently done something incredibly impressive that is rarely ever seen in the gacha sphere, and how it could affect the future of high-budget gacha games. And as always, if you enjoy this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll be making more videos like this, or go to twitch.tv/Genizod as I stream daily.
Right, guess we're gonna have to do that real fast. I guess we'll like and subscribe, because you told me to.
Recently, both Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero have released some enormous changes to their games. Patch 1.4 for Zenless fundamentally overhauled multiple core systems of the game, adding personal character ults, removing the TVs from the main story, and excited a ton of players with events, freebies, and a long-awaited character release. Wuthering Waves released version 2.0, exceeding players' expectations in multiple ways by making a new continent with really unique biomes.
This isn't Minecraft. What do you mean by fucking biomes? The fuck?
And a flight system, making exploration exciting again, while also writing a well-received story and hyping players with new characters. These two updates were not only the largest to happen to their respective games, but also have done the impossible, actually listening to the players.
Hey, you're giving me PTSD from my childhood, Genizod. Relax, buddy. Hey, Mr. Pokey's not going to be able to react to this one.
To the players for once, which never happens. This shows they actually can put the effort in and listen to players to make a better experience for everyone.
True.
Just most gacha games don't. Many players will always settle for less in games they enjoy and often defend them to the death. But through valid criticism and possibly lowering revenues, both games were able to improve to what they are today. Whether players want to admit it or not, if the games had never begun to falter or have to compete with other games, they may never have reached this point. Competition leads to excellence, and with so many games in the market, unless you step it up, you really won't be noticed.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I always say, ladies and gentlemen, if you want games like Genshin Impact to get better, if you want games like Honkai Star Rail to get better, quit them. Just stop playing them. Quit them, stop spending money, and they will get better. They are 1000% guaranteed to get better, and you could say, oh, it's Hoyoverse. They're just gonna feed you slop forever. They are only doing that because you keep giving them money hand over fist for shitty patches like HSR 3.0, for shitty patches like Genshin 5.3 and 5.4. You keep giving this company money despite the fact that they are delivering garbage to you. And if you make the decision to simply stop giving them that money, they will make the game better like they did for ZZZ in version 1.4. 1,000,000%.
Well, unless you're some garbage like Fake Grand Origin. However, since their launches, I had seen both communities very defensive of their game against all criticism. criticism. Now, obviously, not all of it is valid. Especially after release, people who hate the game will trash it, like me, but then they move on and you'll hear less negativity. As the company, it's important to sift through the criticism and find valid and real ones for games to be better. Both Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero had previously released fairly close to one another for being such huge releases in the gacha sphere, which immediately started some conflict despite being completely different genres of games.
I mean, they're pretty similar. They both got combat in them. They both got combat, dodges, parries. One combat system is objectively better than the other, but, you know, there's no problem with enjoying both.
You may as well compare Path of Exile 2 to Marvel Rivals. However, both have one thing
Nah,
I believe
that's a
in
bit of a
common.
stretch.
They were both released prematurely. Let me explain by talking about them one at a time. Wuthering Waves on release had numerous issues. It had terrible optimization to the point many couldn't play, and people's phones were basically nuclear reactors Chernobyl 2, and even on PC it could crash or lag. The story and voice acting was abysmal.
Alright, don't use Jinsei as the example here. Put up Yang Yang instead, okay? Put up Yang Yang instead. Jinsei was fine.
They had recently rewritten the entire story after negative feedback, and realistically, it's pretty hard to rewrite so much in a short amount of time and have it work, and it really showed. Thank God they had a skip button. As for the voice acting,
Are you feeling all right?
Oh, there we go.
whoever the VA director was clearly hadn't ever heard English before, because even Jeff Bezos sounds more human. While the game overall had a good skeleton, it required large updates to truly become what it was meant to be. Firstly, the 1.1 update added better story, voice acting, and music with Mount Firmament, also a lot of optimization. Then 1.3 pushed the story, music, and area design even further with the Black Shores, and a lot more optimization. Now finally in 2.0, the game has improved almost every single facet from the base game with insane upgrades to exploration and area design, and now the music has elevated itself to bangers you actually enjoy instead of boring noise. Also, this update probably would have been received well by players and considered a great patch normally, but the real cherry on top, the actual best part of the entire update, is the flying system. Genuinely, not even a meme, this actually changes everything.
Why is he only flying with these characters? Why is Genocide only flying with these characters? A little bit interesting.
And once you try them, you literally cannot go back to 1.0. That trash-ass no-fly zone feels worse than a Dark Souls swamp. Running is for complete losers, and I'm never going back.
Guys, I think this is recency bias. 1.0 is actually not that bad. It's not that bad, guys. Just because you can't fly there, it's not like that bad, guys.
Next, Zenless Zone Zero. While the game overall was much more polished than Wuthering Waves on launch, it still had some huge underlying issues. Firstly, it had the TV puzzle system. Everybody loves that system, right?
Nobody
But
liked
it was
this shit.
widely hated by players,
Actually
even in
awful.
previous betas, and replaced a large chunk of the gameplay. Also, the average age of players was probably too young to even know what the hell a CRT TV is. So unless they play Smash Bros. Melee, they probably were confused what they were even looking at. This system was so polarizing that they even stated on Twitter they would remove it, only to then retract the statement shortly after due to backlash.
You know what that was? That's what you call toxic positivity. You saw all these dumb little nerds crying that the TV system was actually good because all they saw were people trashing on the game because of the TVs. And so they're just like, no, I've got to defend my multi-billion-dollar company. I have to defend them from all these unwarranted attacks. These guys don't know what they're talking about. Keep it in. Yeah, we all know how that turned out.
Secondly, some of the gameplay decisions made no sense, such as every character sharing the same ultimate bar.
Oh
You
yeah,
only
this
ever
was
used-
this was actually stupid. There were some people defending the fact that the team had a shared ultimate, and I was just like, are you guys stupid? Like, are you guys actually stupid? What's the point of having a shared ultimate if you're only going to use one of them? Like, what's the point of having ultimates on characters? Just remove the support's ultimate because you're never fucking using it. Why is it even in the game? It was just so dumb. It made no sense.
You would only ever use the strongest character's ult and never even see the other team members, which anyone who played for an hour could honestly tell you. Duh, you're gonna ult with your strongest member, right? Also, they didn't really have any endgame to play, so there wasn't much point in getting that much stronger, and with no world to explore, you kind of ran out of content really quickly. Now, since the start, they've improved the game in tons of quality of life ways, even allowing you to run around as an 8-foot tall furry if you're really into that. They've also added way more games to the arcade and are slowly fleshing out some more. They added multiple endgame modes to play, including an infinite tower to challenge. finally making a big budget gacha have more difficult replayable content. They also made Miyabi, who is easily the most fun character in the game at the moment, while also power creeping everything previous.
Wait, isn't this a video where we're glazing? Isn't this supposed to be a glazing video? That's a pretty objectively bad thing though, isn't it, for the state of the game, low-key?
Imagine playing Ellen Joe in 2025. You're even making a skin and a story for this sorry-ass shark girl, just so you don't forget she exists. Now, you might disagree. You might say the games weren't released early. However, when you compare the 1.0 launches to what they are now, it's night and day. Not only in content, but also in quality of life, core game fixes, and player satisfaction. Most gacha games do not improve to this degree in such a short span. In fact, it is such a stark contrast that I don't even see the two communities fighting anymore because they're actually enjoying their games rather than projecting their dissatisfactions towards another community. Have you ever noticed that when there's no content or anything new in a game, the community starts to get into all sorts of
whoa, what's going on over here, buddy boy? Is that me?
Anything new in a game,
Well. Looks like it was worth reacting to this one after all, ladies and gentlemen. We've been used. We've been used and abused, apparently.
Community starts to get into all sorts of drama and unrest.
Fake news, China.
Obviously, content creators want to make content on that kind of stuff, but also just way more negativity and animosity between players as well. Suddenly, the two games have had the drama well dry up because they actually elevated the levels of their games so players can stop bitching.
No, now all we do is we make fun of HSR and Genshin because they suck balls. Like, wow, this patch is fucking shit. Sucks. Gosh, both these patches suck dick. God. Holy shit. And I feel like the thing is that maybe one thing that I haven't really heard Jenna factor in is the fact that, well, people are allowed to play multiple gacha games. And it turns out a lot of people that played Wuthering Waves, they also might play Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail 2. And if you play Honkai Star Rail 3.0 previously after having played Wuthering Waves, oh my gosh, you're just gonna be like, this patch sucks big fucking ass. This patch is irredeemably fucking bad. And I think that's a fair point to make, especially if you've already experienced 2.0 of WuWa. 3.0 is some absolute dog shit.
Now all the dramas in Honkai Star Rail were...
True. All the dramas in Honkai Star Rail, and it's led by one man. I mean, what do you expect to happen when you call players greedy and stupid? I mean, what did you expect was gonna happen, man? It's still being referenced even today. This tweet is going into the annals of gacha history. The annals, not anal.
Okay, listen. Your words, not mine.
Now, there is one thing I would like to note for anyone watching. I actually don't enjoy Zenless or play it anymore. However, that doesn't diminish my respect for developers that actually improve their games to please the players. Did they listen and overhaul so much for money and player numbers? Probably, since it never happened in Genshin or Honkai to this.
Hey, he made his bed, sort of. I didn't even realize it. He made his bed.
Never happened in Genshin or Honkai to this degree.
Okay, depending on your viewpoint of what a made bed is, you could say that this is not made, but considering Genozod, this is as good as it's gonna get.
In Genshin or Honkai to this degree. However, that doesn't mean the developers aren't also passionate about the game. I don't have to like the game to acknowledge when it does something right. If more developers did this, then the competition would also have to, essentially creating an arms race of better games, bigger patches, and more improvements, otherwise they'd fail. Too many successful games sit on their ass and improve nothing, even when they have the ability to. Just look at Fate Grand Order. The game's garbage and never improves, but still makes so much money just because there was an early game with a huge IP behind it. And look at how many non-gacha games got destroyed by tiny developed indie games last year.
And the game award goes to Belatra.
Okay, this game could go fuck itself. It's not that good. It's not that fun.
Competition breeds excellence. For us, the players, this is literally a win-win. When players begin to spend and play less, it sends alarm bells to the company to begin change immediately, which let them push out such good updates sooner rather than in 2.0. Also, I just enjoy seeing people genuinely having fun and enjoying their game rather than pretending to like every little thing as though the game's amazing.
Remember Mr. Pokey's review of the last 4 gacha patches that came out? Honkai Star Rail's number 1, ZZZ's number 2, WuWa's number 3, and Genshin's number 4. Oh boy. I'm gonna be honest. In what universe can you honestly say that Honkai Star Rail 3.0 is better than any of them? It is actually worse than the Genshin patch. It is genuinely worse than the Genshin patch. That's just giga shilling at that point. let's be real, guys. It is giga shilling to put HSR at the top there.
Constantly when they give you one pull or some crap. Finally, there's one huge thing that we've all learned together. If players quit or stop spending money, the company actually begins to listen.
Yes, I've been saying this the entire time.
Agree to quit our favorite gacha games for a month, they'll release the best patch of all time. You in? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks a bunch for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more, and I hope to see you next time.
All right, so there we go. Overall, I would say that was a great historical lesson by none other than Genazad himself. I don't think he was wrong about anything that was in there necessarily. And it was like a great little walkthrough, right, of how these games got better. And you want to know how these games got better? It's because they wanted to make more money. They wanted to make more money, and that's how they got better. And that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you want games like Honkai Star Rail, you want games like Genshin to get better, you want the Genshin devs to stop giving you a live stream filled with fucking NPCs, you stop spending money on the game. Otherwise, if you keep keeping up the same level of revenue when the quality is going down, guess what? The quality of your game is going to keep going down because the devs will see how much they can get away with when it comes to delivering shitty updates until the community finally bites back. They bit back for ZZZ. They made the game better. You need the same exact thing to happen for Honkai Star Rail 3.0, and things will start getting better. Let me know what you all thought about this one. Peace out.